Hi fellow animals, welcome to Kimba's Kingdom, home of everything Kimba the White Lion. If there's something you'd like to see more of or less of, please let me know in the comments. I'm making this channel for you guys, so let me know what you want to see. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss a thing. Crossovers. A unique genre of storytelling where two totally different stories, often made by different creators, come together. There's something about crossovers that's inexplicably appealing to audience members and writers alike. Whether it's natural curiosity, wanting to see what fun antics would take place if our favourite characters met, some kind of desire within us for a unified mythological world, or perhaps just the fact that each of our favourite characters represents different aspects of ourselves, and bringing them together to make a whole is almost a natural thing to do. Whatever the case, crossovers are here to stay, and when done right, they can be a lot of fun. So what TV series, movies and video games do I think would make a great crossover with Kimba the White Lion? Here are my top 10 picks. To keep to my weekly upload schedule, I'll be covering numbers 10 to 6 in this video and 5 to 1 in the next. Number 10, Doctor Who. So the first on our list stars Kimba's fellow hero from the 60s, the Doctor from Doctor Who. So why these two series? Well, for a start, the Doctor and Kimba are both non-humans who have a deep respect and admiration of humanity, despite being extremely aware of its flaws. The two heroes actually have a stunning amount in common. They're both never willing to sacrifice even a single innocent life, and they're heartbroken whenever they can't save everyone. They're both extremely idealistic and devoted to their ideology, and they're prone to bursts of anger when they see someone as doing wrong. But above all, they believe in mercy, forgiveness, and second chances. And they believe in selflessness, always risking their own lives to save others from danger. I mean, just look at the Doctor's promise, the code he lives by. Never cruel or cowardly, never give up, never give in. If that doesn't sound like Kimba, then nothing does. The Doctor and Kimba are unbelievably compatible. And I think the two heroes adventuring together would make for a great story too. We know that Kimba's naturally curious and adventurous, and loves to see what's over the horizon, so he'd never turn down the chance to jump in the TARDIS and go on an adventure with the Doctor. Though he would of course return to his jungle afterwards, because he has a duty to his citizens, and he has to stay and protect them. I can imagine the Doctor and Kimba teaming up on their adventure and rescuing some peaceful creatures that are in danger from hunters or some other threat on an alien planet. And I can imagine both of them saving each other a couple of times from what seems like certain death. The Doctor is cornered by a bunch of robots, and then at the last second Kimba jumps out from the air conditioning system with the Doctor's sonic screwdriver in his mouth and deactivates them. Or Kimba is being chased by hunters and ends up on a cliff edge with the hunters rapidly approaching. Then he hears the TARDIS in the distance and jumps, only for the TARDIS to materialise around him and the Doctor to fly him to safety. It just sounds like it'd be a fun adventure. Number 9, SimCity. This one might seem like a long shot, but consider this. In Kimba the White Lion, Kimba is appointed leader of a wild jungle, and he has to build schools, farms, a water supply, and so on, while keeping his citizens happy with his decisions. In SimCity, you the player are given an undeveloped tract of land. You need to build schools, industry, and a water supply, and you have to keep your citizens happy. The game fits the story of Kimba pretty well. I can totally imagine a crossover Sim jungle game based on the core mechanics of SimCity, but where you have to deal with the unique challenges of building a city for animals, and fending off human hunters at the same time. That honestly sounds pretty fun to play, and it'd be really satisfying watching your jungle slowly evolve into this huge metropolis, where it's like this fusion of technology and nature, with trees and vines interwoven with skyscrapers and public transport networks. That sounds epic, or maybe I'm just a dog. Number 8, Hearts of Iron. So this is another one that sounds like a long shot, but again, hear me out. There's a couple of core mechanics in Hearts of Iron that fit Kimba really well. First of all, ideology. Your nation can follow communism, fascism, democracy, or neutrality, basically monarchy, and each of them gives you certain strengths and disadvantages. In Kimba the White Lion, we see a similar thing. We see heaps of different jungles run by different characters with their own leadership styles. You've got Kimba's jungle with his ideology of technological progress, a fair and merciful justice system and peace between the animals. You've got Tonga's hunting ground with her ideology of strict obedience towards humans, an unforgiving and cold leadership style and a focus on security and military might. And you've got Kimba's jungle when Claw was in charge, an almost anarchist situation where the strong survive and everyone has to fend for themselves. Imagine having those three ideologies. Maybe you could call them civicism, hierarchism and Darwinism or something like that, and different nations in the game could choose their own ideology. And then there's the other big mechanic in Hearts of Iron, managing resources for a war effort and using military strategy and tactics to defeat other nations. And Kimba the White Lion is absolutely filled with battles like this. The battle between Kimba's jungle and Tonga's hunting ground, the battle at Dead River between Kimba's loyalists and Claw, the revolution of the animals in the hunting ground led by Kimba. This would all fit right into the mechanics of Hearts of Iron 4. Supply lines, technological advantages and tactics like encirclement and reinforcements all played a major role in the plot of these episodes. Honestly, Hearts of Iron fits Kimba almost perfectly. Imagine a Hearts of Iron game, or even a mod, where animals across the world are rising up against humans inspired by Kimba, and it's also during the height of the Cold War, so you've got communists funding animal uprisings in capitalist countries, and capitalists funding animal uprisings in communist countries, and it's just this complex and multi-layered simulation of war and diplomacy with this silly fantastic element of talking animals. It just sounds really entertaining. Number 7, Sonic the Hedgehog. So this is probably the first one that immediately makes sense. Both series actually share some really similar themes and values. The heroes of both series are liberators, fighting to free their animal friends from human exploitation and cruelty. They both believe in kindness and compassion and putting their lives on the line to save others. Both series would also gel well together in terms of tone, as they can both be emotionally intense at times, but for the most part are light-hearted fun and action-packed, full of exciting adventure and battles and full of silly comedic moments as well. Honestly, these two are a great fit for each other. The contrast between the two main characters also makes this even better. Although Sonic and Kimba have very similar beliefs and would definitely be best friends, fighting for the same great cause, they also have some different personality traits, which would play well off each other and make for fun banter. Kimba is very responsible for his age, while Sonic is mischievous. Kimba is humble, while Sonic is a bit of a show-off. Kimba relies more on stealth and agility to defeat his enemies, while Sonic relies on speed and takes them head-on. Both of them do have a tendency to rush into danger without thinking, which could also get them into lots of trouble, but they both come out on top in the end. Honestly, the more I think about this crossover, the more fun it sounds too. Number 6. Pablo the Little Red Fox. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. Who? Allow me to introduce you to Pablo the Little Red Fox, one of my favourite TV shows when I was growing up. I can't sing the praises of the series enough. It's exceptionally cute, but the aesthetic is on a whole other level. It genuinely affects me like few other things do. The show has so much style, yet it's not forced, it's genuine. I love the look of those white outlines and the soft-spoken narration and the geometric yet messy looking characters. It's all just so unique and so charming. The whole thing is subtle and delicately crafted, and it has this kind of bittersweetness, a sort of strangely charming uneasiness just beneath the surface. On the surface, it's a story about a cheeky little fox exploring the world, but really it's about two worlds: the world of the night, with the animals quietly eking out a living, and the world of the day, our bright, busy human world, and the fact that, if the two worlds crossed over, it would pose a deep existential threat to both. You can see why such a thoughtful and multi-layered series would cross over so well with Kimba, especially considering they both cover the relationship between humans and animals, though in different ways. I could imagine a story taking place while Kimba was living with Roger in the human world, where he sneaks outside at night and runs into Pablo. The two curious, adventurous youngsters get up to mischief together, exploring the city and getting into a few close calls when they wake up humans with their antics, before eventually the sun begins to rise and Pablo has to return home. Kimba offers Pablo the chance to live with Roger, and he considers it, but in the end he decides he would miss his friends and family. And his home is his den. His home is the night, not the human world. But he promises he'll never forget Kimba, and the two friends part ways. I think this would totally be in the spirit of both series, and a really touching, cute and heartfelt story. Nothing epic or tragic, just a quiet, softly spoken, bittersweet story. And that's Pablo the Little Red Fox through and through. That's all for now, fellow animals. Be sure to tune in for part 2. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you won't miss it. Thanks so much for watching. That's all for now, fellow animals. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more, please subscribe. And if you've got some spare change, please donate to my Patreon. It'll help me pay for ads and help this channel grow. If you can't get enough Kimba content, feel free to join our Kimba fan club on Discord. Everyone is welcome, even if you're new to Kimba. Thanks again for watching and have a great day.